This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Good evening, and first at 5, we've got a thunderstorm watch for part of our viewing area at this hour, even though the sun is still shining across much of central Indiana, including on the campus of the University of Indianapolis, which you see in this video, and that's why it is a Storm Team 6 alert day.
We begin with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Now, Kevin, what can we expect for the rest of the night?
Well, these thunderstorms are targeting southwest Indiana right now. That's where the pieces of the puzzle came together for a cluster of storms. That's why this thunderstorm watch is in effect. Vincennes down to Evansville in southwest of Bedford. That's until 10 o'clock tonight. Just to show you, not much happening anywhere in the northern two-thirds of the state. You've got to get southwest of Bloomington. We head to the line of storms, which has been severe with damaging wind, the main threat, southern Illinois. That will cut through Evansville, stretches to about Vincennes. Let's drift to the north. Non-severe, but heavy downpours. Northeast Greene County heads up to your west in Bedford and Olytic as you'll inherit a storm there. The overall threat for storms in central Indiana is low, and of those storms, severe weather is unlikely. 85 in Indy, it's 87 in Terre Haute. By the way, we're down 3 degrees in the last hour in Indianapolis. Isolated thunderstorms around this evening. That low, severe threat that's more likely to the south. 74 degrees still at 10 o'clock tonight.
The back-to-school crackdown on dangerous drivers.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade got an exclusive look at the officers enforcing stop-arm violations in Muncie. She drove with police to see just how dangerous the problem is and shows us what she found.
We're riding along with Muncie Police Department this morning in an undercover vehicle following school buses, making sure that people are stopping when the stop arm is out.
So you can see their parents being pretty aggressive, which we had heard from some people that we talked to in the community that parents were actually like having to get out in the road.
It didn't take long to see it for ourselves. Muncie PD has heard several complaints from parents that people aren't stopping when the stop arm is out, putting kids in danger. We spotted a driver you see here on the left-hand side turning while kids were crossing the street.
He knew the rules, and I asked him, I said, you saw the arm. Yeah. I thought it was okay.
Almost every day, people are impatient. They don't understand that these kids are crossing. You can hit them. That's it.
Muncie PD just received a state grant to pay officers overtime this year to enforce this law specifically. Once the buses have made their way safely to school, police stick around school zones to watch for people speeding.
This is 45 and a 20. Very nice lady, but that's 25 over the speed limit. And if a kid were to go running across the street, can she get stopped in seconds? The answer is no.
Working for you in Muncie, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
If you see drivers breaking the rules around school buses, let us know. Contact us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
New information just into the RTV6 newsroom. One of 2 unborn twin boys has died days after someone shot his mother in the head in Anderson. Anderson Police Chief Tony Waters said the mother, Alexis Wasson, and the other 21-week-old unborn baby boy remain on life support. This man, Skylar White, is accused of shooting Alexis Wasson in the head in the early morning hours of August 2nd and not getting immediate medical attention for her. White is Wasson's boyfriend. Now, according to court documents, White told his mother it was an accident. He currently faces charges of attempted murder and criminal recklessness, but Anderson police say those charges are expected to be upgraded. Wasson has remained on life support at the hospital since the shooting.
El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio are both preparing for a visit from President Donald Trump tomorrow. Those cities are the sites of 2 mass shootings that left 31 people dead and more than 50 injured. ABC's Ramina Puga is in El Paso tonight with new developments.
He's made this bed and he's got a lie in it.
Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley, at the scene of one of this weekend's mass shootings, says she wants common sense gun reform, and she'll tell President Trump how unhelpful he's being.
Look, I'm disappointed with his remarks. I think they fell really short. He mentioned gun issues one time.
This morning, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine promising change after residents chanted "do something" at a vigil Monday night.
We must do something, and that is exactly what we are going to do.
Today, Kellyanne Conway defending the president's comments on mental health and the right to bear arms.
There are sick people out there who should not have firearms. and they need to be stopped.
Meanwhile, new in the investigation in El Paso, authorities telling ABC News that 21-year-old Patrick Crucius drove to El Paso intending to shoot Mexicans. They say he initially entered the Walmart unarmed because he was hungry, then came back with a gun once he noticed thousands of people inside.
We're dealing with a tragedy of 22 people who have perished by an evil, hateful act of a white supremacist.
The El Paso massacre, now the 7th deadliest mass shooting in the nation's history. And just 13 hours later in Dayton, 24-year-old Connor Betts opened fire, killing 9 people, including his sister, Megan Betts.
She was really, like, the best kind of person.
Investigators still searching for a motive in that case, but former high school classmates say that Betts once made a hit list, naming students he wanted to kill or sexually assault. ABC News confirming the reports with the classmates' parents.
He did make a list of women that he wanted to kill, many of whom I was friends with.
And in the wake of the El Paso shooting, the FBI now warning the community of a scam, claiming to be a funeral home asking for money to make arrangements. In El Paso, Romina Puga, ABC News.
Indiana Mayor and presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg is releasing a plan to track and prevent domestic terrorism incidents in the wake of the weekend's mass shootings. Buttigieg says he will better empower law enforcement to prevent domestic terrorism by increasing the FBI's field staff and train officers on the connection between domestic violence and extremism. He has also announced plans for universal background checks and banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Buttigieg appeared on CNN today to discuss his ideas.
We also, of course, have to enact these common sense gun reforms, the things that we talk about all day, but Washington hasn't delivered. And we need political reforms to make it happen. Look, when most of the American people want to at least see background checks and red flag laws, and that hasn't happened, you got to ask why and how.
Buttigieg has also called for a nationwide gun licensing system and federal funding for gun violence research.
An animal welfare group is pushing for tougher penalties for Indianapolis pet owners who fail to follow the rules. Right now, the fines start at $25, but some say that's way too low to make an impact. Call 6 investigates. Kara Kenny's story about the death of a pit bull mix chained up in hot weather is striking a nerve with a lot of people who say it's time for change.
Our story about the death of Flash, a pit bull mix, is prompting outrage from the community. Citizens say we need tougher penalties in Indianapolis for irresponsible pet owners. Right now, a first-time care and treatment violation in Indianapolis will get you a $25 minimum fine. Animal welfare group Friends of Indianapolis Dogs Outside says that is way too low. They're proposing a first-time fine of $200 and $500 for subsequent violations. Pit bull mix Flash died after being tethered outside in the hot sun. His owner, Melinda Ryan, admitted Monday to 3 care and treatment ordinance violations. Her punishment, to pay a $100 fine plus court costs, and she can keep her other dogs.
They did not provide a strong enough message to those owners that what they did is unacceptable in our community.
What can the City County Council do about this?
Well, I think we're listening to the constituents. You read the concerns. I've read the concerns. It's near my district, and so we as a council need to address it. Need to look at what we need to do to increase the fines.
This past winter, Gordon Turrentine left his dog outside to freeze to death. He got a year probation and cannot keep dogs during probation. Fido says typically prosecutors and courts do not prevent someone from keeping dogs unless it's an extreme case. Aside from venting your frustrations on Facebook, you can also contact your city county councilors and state lawmakers about penalties for pet owners. Working for you in Indianapolis, I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenny.
Well, the Colts ramping up practice at training camp as the team gets closer to their first preseason game on Thursday against the Buffalo Bills.
And they decided to move camp indoors today at Grand Park due to the threat of bad weather.
RTV6's sports director Dave First is live in Westfield. Dave, how are the Colts looking today?
Pretty good indoors, though, as you guys mentioned, although you would never know it by the sun setting towards the west here in West Field. But the team working indoors with that threat of rain just to protect both the players and the fans that may have showed up here today. In fact, let's take you indoors today at a facility located just east of their usual practice facility. A nice little perk, right, that this training camp has that ability. In case weather moves in, they do have a place to go. Not so great for the fans, though. Just 500 were allowed in and no autographs afterwards. That was tough to take. But they did see the final practice before Thursday's first preseason game. And on the field, well, not on the field, really, Andrew Luck, as he still nurses that left calf and strained lower leg injury. Frank Reich saying afterwards that Jacoby Brissett will start Thursday in Buffalo and will play the first quarter only. It says that he's not about to panic about Andrew, and fans, well, fans should not either.
He's working through a different series of exercises, or for lack of a better word, an upgraded, more dynamic series of exercises that would challenge him even more physically, get more strength, but would also, where there's a few movement things involved and dynamic movement stuff, that all things seem to be going well.
How about this? Just 5 camp days remain out here after the team gets back from Buffalo and begin that second phase of training camp on Saturday. Right now, the plan is for Andrew Luck to get back and practice on Saturday, but we'll see what happens. More from Frank about channeling some Tony Dungy when dealing with the strained calf issue for Andrew Luck. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, Dave First reporting live from Westfield, RTV6 Sports.
Thanks, Dave. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6. Apple's unveiling a credit card that's backed by MasterCard. Working for you, we look at the pros and cons of the new mobile payment service.
But first, here at 5 o'clock, a local dog gets stuck in a pipe with no way out on its own. The teamwork on display during these very tense moments that help lead this pup to safety.
And following the lightning takes us to the line of strongest storms, some severe, dipping into southwest Indiana. We'll come north to Bloomington, show you a developing thunderstorm there when we come back.
Keller and Keller.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at 5. Ollie's wandering ways finally got the best of him. The Bloomington dachshund walked into a drainage pipe under a driveway Monday and could not get out on his own. The pipe was crushed at one end, making it impossible for Ollie to turn around. The dog's owner was not having any luck getting to him, but 3 Bloomington Street Department employee and an animal control worker came to the rescue. Mike Stinson took the lead using bolt cutters to remove the crushed portion of the pipe. He was eventually able to reach Ollie and, with the help of the others, pull the dachshund to safety. Once outside, Ollie seemed to be just fine.
Glad to hear it there. A man wanted by the FBI out of Indiana and Texas on multiple federal criminal charges, including murder, kidnapping, and racketeering, has been captured in Mexico. Police arrested 47-year-old Juan Alberto Mendez in Playa del Carmen, Mexico on August 1st. He was deported to the U.S. the next day. Mendez is a known member of the Gulf Cartel. Here in Indiana, Mendez was charged with conspiracy to distribute and possess heroin, cocaine, and marijuana. In Texas, he faces several charges. They include murder in aid of racketeering and kidnapping resulting in death.
New at 5, a local medical center earns a prestigious designation. Today, the National Cancer Institute, or NCI, certified the IU Simon Cancer Center as a comprehensive cancer center. That's the highest recognition from NCI. IU Simon Cancer Center becomes the only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center in Indiana and one of just 51 in the nation.
The NCI cancer centers, which are distributed among 36 states, really are the major engines of discovery in cancer research, but they also are critical places for delivering high-quality cancer care.
The IU Simon Cancer Center also received an outstanding rating by NCI reviewers and was awarded a 5-year, $13.8 million grant that supports the center's research programs and facilities. A Columbus police officer and a Department of Public Works employee are being recognized for helping save the life of a fellow city worker. The Columbus Board of Public Works and Safety presented police officer Brian Voiles and DPW worker Rudy Ziegler with a letter of commendation. According to the Columbus Police Department, Voiles was on patrol in the area of State and Penn Streets on July 10th when he was flagged down by Ziegler. Ziegler's work partner had been eating in a vehicle when he choked on a piece of food and was unable to breathe. Officer Voiles and Ziegler performed the Heimlich maneuver and were able to dislodge the food, allowing the man to breathe on his own. Well, tomorrow marks another monumental day in Channel 6 history.
Our good friend Kevin Gregory will celebrate his 30th anniversary at Channel 6. Kevin arrived on August 7th, 1989. He was hired as the morning and noon weatherman, but over the years he's worn many hats around here. Not long after he was hired, he was tapped to host a show called At the Zoo for 10 years. He co-hosted the telethon for the United Negro College Fund. He helped usher in the Christmas season for the city of Indianapolis for years as the host of the Circle of Lights. And for the past 19 years, he's been the face of the RTV6 toy drive.
I would have to say that Kevin, he's funny, he's genuine, and does a great job at what he does. Not only on the weather, but the toy drive and to engage all those organizations and the kids the way he does is just phenomenal. And I would say that probably Kevin more so than anybody else in this market, if you needed somebody to fill an hour without a script and keep it interesting, Kevin Gregory could do it.
He's the guy.
Jack is scaring me.
He laid it all out there, right?
Don't let Jack produce the show.
He's the first person I would call, and I've got a cell number and say, Jack, I need you to, help me fill some time. But Jack, Derek Thomas, Norman Cox, Howard Caldwell, there's so many that kind of paved the road that had 40-plus year careers, and so I thank you for your kind words there, Jack.
And a lot of fun assignments for you. At the Zoo, that was a great
I love
segment,
your stories from At the Zoo.
So 1988 to just before 2000, I mean, the thinking was when the new zoo was opened that we'd have a 13-week run of behind the scenes look at the new zoo and then replay 13 weeks. But then you found out there was an endless storyline. Lions that got root canals, animals that unfortunately die at the zoo, animals born at the zoo, animals that come to the zoo, and then we traveled. And so it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. On to my job.
Right?
Showers and thunderstorms, not for Indy. It seems unlikely. Had some folks call this afternoon into the weather office wondering if they should go to the state fair. Looks like the green light. Any isolated showers and thunderstorms far more likely south of Indy now. That's where your thunderstorm watch is. Southwest Indiana, including Vincennes to Evansville and southern portions of Illinois. For us, the line of storms will stay just out of the viewing area. This line coming together, pushing southeast, damaging wind the main threat, along with heavy rainfall, and they may see some hail as well. Watch one thunderstorm that tries to come out of Greene County and just fades away just west of Bedford. Another will likely form, and then coming into Monroe County southwest of Bloomington, headed toward Lake Monroe, a thunderstorm there. The rest of central Indiana, if we see thunderstorms, they'll more likely be just to the south of the metro area and sliding southeast. Why do I pick that spot? That's where the cold front sits, and that's really the spark for the thunderstorms. And as that spark drops southeast, so will the thunderstorms. 82 in Tipton, 85 in Indy, 87 in Terre Haute. Say hello to Nala and Liza Jane. Look at them. Both, we have their attention, and the posture is great. They're ready to go for a walk this evening. Looks likely that you'll be able to go, guys, ladies. Temperatures, they'll be in the low 80s at 7 o'clock, down into the low 70s by the time we get to 11. Let's talk about the rest of the evening. I'm not saying we're risk-free from any thunderstorms in the area, but I think they're more likely south of Indy for the next few hours. Then our chance for thunderstorms is limited. Just a 30% chance on Thursday. We're dry then through the weekend. Highs tomorrow. By the time we get to noon, we'll be pushing 80. We'll have a nice breeze out of the west. 84 the afternoon high. Our chance for thunderstorms, although limited, returns Thursday. Then as we go to the weekend, temperatures back in the mid-80s without too much in the way of humidity. It wasn't quite an hour that I just filled, 2.5 minutes, but you know.
You did it.
You get the idea.
Eloquently, yes.
You've heard enough.
Thanks, Kevin, for that. Hey, Florida, as we all know, is a very popular vacation destination. The new underwater adventure that is much more than just an attraction, the larger purpose it serves to help heal and unite us. Coming up.
working for you.
Many of you travel down to Florida for a vacation.
And now there's a one-of-a-kind underwater memorial honoring veterans that you may want to check out. 10 miles off the coast of Clearwater Beach is the nation's first underwater dive war memorial. It's called the Circle of Heroes Memorial.
12 life-size statues underwater representing men and women who served in the U.S. Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, and Navy.
Before diving the memorial, Sean Campbell, who served in Iraq as a combat medic, had no idea his name was on one of those statues.
I didn't know that my name was on here. Wow, that's amazing. Especially after so many people that I knew over there.
Well, the Circle of Heroes is supposed to be a place of peace and healing.
An additional 12 statues are projected to be installed in 2020 to complete the 100-foot Circle of Heroes. Again, this is about 10 miles off the coast of Clearwater Beach.
Put it on your to-do list there. Coming up all new on the news at 6 here. Big news from Holiday World in southern Indiana. They broke ground today on the water coaster that's the first of its kind in the world. We'll highlight the features for you and when you can check out the new water-charged thrills. That's new at 6.
But first on the Now, Indy, 2 sisters from Israel with a devastating discovery in their dorm room. The image on that wall that's prompting a response from one local university. You're watching RTV6.